Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. Summer is quickly approaching, and with numbers plateauing in the state, it's a difficult time for businesses across the state. On this week's episode, I'll be discussing some of the theater companies in Berkshire County and how they're planning to start their 2021 season. Plus, I'll be reviewing the Academy Award nominated film, Promising Young Woman, and giving a history on the town of Hinsdale. First, it's time for this week's trivia question, which will be answered during our discussion on reopening theaters. This week's question is, what was the first production ever put on by Barrington Stage Company? Now, for this week's local entertainment headlines. The state is still currently under Phase 4, with only bars and nightclubs not reopened yet. In addition, vaccinations are now available for the general public. However, Johnson & Johnson has resumed their vaccinations after it was forced to stop due to multiple people reporting blood clots. Here is where the state stands in their reopening. The July 2020 travel order that required people entering Massachusetts from many states to fill out a form and quarantine for 10 days plus test negative for COVID-19 will no longer be in place. Instead, a new order encourages people to quarantine upon arrival in Massachusetts if they have been away for 24 hours. This does not apply for those returning after trips shorter than 24 hours or fully vaccinated visitors. Also, people can now travel to states that are allowing outside visitors without quarantining, which includes states such as New York. Massachusetts has also increased capacity limits. Event venues and public settings will rise to 100 people indoors and 150 people outdoors. This includes major sporting arenas for teams like Red Sox, Celtics, and Bruins. For private residencies, caps will remain at 25 people outside and 10 people inside. Additionally, overnight summer camps will be allowed to open, and exhibition halls and conventions will be able to operate to the gathering limits. As stated previously, the general public can now receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Residents can pre-register to book an appointment, and appointments will be based on eligibility and available appointments nearby. Please note that depending on vaccine supply, it could take weeks to be notified that an appointment is available at a location. Information on the COVID pandemic is always changing, so stay tuned for more information. On last week's episode, I discussed how theaters were readjusting their schedules for 2021. This week, I'll be continuing the discussion. First, after a year of social distancing, the Williamstown Theatre Festival will be returning to live, in-person performances. The season will include 3 performances mounted around Williamstown, rather than just being at the 1000 Main Street location. The season will begin with the world premiere of Outside on Main, 9 solo plays by Black playwrights, which will be held on the front lawn of the 62 Center for Theater and Dance and be held from June 13th through July 7th. Next, the world premiere musical, Row, will debut at the Clark Art Institute from July 13th through August 8th. Finally, the season concludes with a unique theatrical experience called Alien/Nation, which will run from July 20th through August 8th. It will take audiences on a journey throughout Williamstown to learn about their history circa 1969. Visitors will travel around the town, and this interactive experience is unlike any other. Tickets for the season will go on sale beginning in June. If you would like information on how you can purchase tickets early, visit the website shown here for more information. There is a strict COVID courtesy code in place. Masks are required of all visitors, and foot traffic patterns must be followed. Seats will be placed 6 feet apart whenever possible. Also, there will be hand sanitizing stations and/or disinfectant wipe stations provided throughout whatever venue the play is being held at. For the Alien Nation play, make sure to bring your own hand sanitizer. Visit WTFestival.org for more information on the season and other updates. Tanglewood in Lenox is also announcing a 6-week schedule from July 9th through August 16th. This is a shorter season than usual due to the still ongoing pandemic. Music director Andres Nelson will be leading 6 concerts, including an opening weekend concert featuring an all-Beethoven program, violinists Emanuel Axe, Babika Skride, and Danielia Tretoff throughout the month of July, and a co-concert co-conducted by famed composer John Williams, featuring the world premiere of his Violin Concert No. 2, performed by Anne-Sophie Mutter. In addition, the Boston Pops will be returning in mid-July with an all-John Williams concert featuring rare and iconic selections, accompanied by exclusive filmed interviews with him and others in the film industry. Famed musicians Yo-Yo Ma, Winston Marsalis, and Joshua Bell will also be playing in late July and early August. James Taylor will also be performing his usual yearly concert, but instead of playing on July 4th, his concert will be one of the last ones on the Tanglewood schedule on August 11th. These are just a few of the shows that Tanglewood has planned. Current ticket availability depends on the event. Some tickets are available to be purchased now for donors to Tanglewood, while general public tickets are not available until May 17th. This depends on the show. Visit the website shown here for more information on which tickets are available when. Additionally, there will be a strict COVID courtesy code in place. Masks must be worn at all times, and seats will be placed 6 feet apart. Contact tracing will be done as well, and if you are buying group tickets, you and your group must either A, have had a recent negative test for COVID-19, or B, have had the vaccine. Tickets are refundable. Barrington Stage Company, as shown here, has also announced its full 2021 season. There will be a combination of indoor and outdoor shows to best accommodate whatever COVID rules are currently in place at the time. The outdoor season will see 2 shows at the BSC Production Center. First, the concert Who Could Ask for Anything More will cover famed songs of American songwriter George Gershwin from June 10th through July 3rd. The other outdoor performance will be the world premiere musical comedy Boca, which will run from July 30th through August 22nd. The Boyd Quinson Main Stage will produce 3 shows in the summer. The first will be the World War II drama Chester Bailey, which will run from June 18th through July 3rd. The second show will be the one-woman show Eleanor, which will focus on former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. It will run from July 16th through August 1st. Finally, the unbelievable true story, Sister Sorry, will run from August 12th through the 29th. Barrington Stage Company has also announced its first show for the fall. The racial drama, A Crossing, will be performed from September 23rd through October 17th. Tickets for the show vary depending on date, time, and age. Visit the website shown here to purchase single tickets. Again, there is a strict COVID courtesy code in place. Visitors must be masked and stay 6 feet apart, and seating in the theater is currently being reorganized in order to do so. Also, visitors who wish to see an indoor play must be vaccinated and have proof of vaccination or have received a negative COVID-19 test. If you want to see an outdoor performance, you just need the negative COVID test. Visit Barrington Stage's website for more information. Barrington Stage Company also provides the answer to this week's trivia question. As a reminder, this week's question was, what was the first production ever put on by Barrington Stage Company? The answer is Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. In 1995, Barrington Stage Company created a production of the award-winning musical, which tells the life of troubled jazz musician Billie Holiday. Because Barrington Stage Company had yet to build their original building, the company was forced to look for smaller venues to produce their shows. As a result, Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill was held at the now-closed Meccano's, a small local bar and restaurant in Housatonic. The production not only drew enthusiastic audiences, but also people who were eager to help a fledgling theater company in any way possible. Eventually, the company began producing plays at Consolati Performing Arts Center at Mount Everett High School in Sheffield before it purchased its current theater location at 30 Union Street in 2005. 2 years later, the theater officially opened, and it has remained there ever since. Another movie theater in Berkshire County will be reopening for business soon. The Triplex Theater, which is located at 70 Railroad Street in Great Barrington, hopes to open up on May 21st. In an interview he had with the Berkshire Eagle, theater owner Richard Stanley stated, quote, "There are some good movies coming out Memorial Day weekend, and we want to get a 1-week head start in getting everything back in groove," end quote. This theater joins the Beacon Cinemas in Pittsfield and the North Adams Movieplex 8 as the only Berkshire venues showing live movies. The Regal Cinemas in Lanesboro, however, is still closed. The Triplex has been closed since the pandemic started, but has received money from the Paycheck Protection Program and other funding sources. As for the movies themselves, one of the films the Triplex hopes to show is Godzilla vs. Kong. This film has earned over $80 million so far in the United States alone since it debuted, making it the biggest success story of the pandemic. Social distancing rules and regulations will still be in place. and the theater can currently operate at 25 to 50% capacity limits. Stay tuned to WWHEN for more information on the specific rules and regulations for the reopening process. The Clark Art Institute in Williamstown is reinstating their First Sundays Free program beginning in May. Each first Sunday of the month, admission to the galleries is free for all visitors for the entire day. However, advanced registration is necessary due to COVID rules and restrictions. Visitors are invited to explore the Clark, both indoors and outdoors. Here you can see the Clark Art's first outdoor exhibition, Groundwork, which opened during the pandemic and consists of site-responsive installations by 6 international artists. Please note that space on these walks in particular is limited. Indoors, you can take advantage in May to see one of the last opportunities to see a change in the light, the Cliché Wehry in 19th century France, which exhibits 44 prints by French artists and discuss Cliché Wehry, a hybrid of drawing and printmaking. Additionally, visitors can explore the year-long installation of Aaron Sharif's Remainders, which was mentioned here previously on WWHEN. There will be special materials available at the Clark's admissions desk for visitors to enhance their stay. These include special Looking Closely cards that provide a variety of activities to do while exploring works in the Clark's collection, as well as complimentary drawing pads for sketching. As stated above, pre-registration and face coverings are required for all participants. It's now time for an R.T. Wehry movie review segment. This week's film received some of the best reviews of 2020 and was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. Promising Young Woman, which is currently on demand everywhere. Promising Young Woman tells the story of Cassandra Cassie Thomas, the title character who was once on track to become a doctor. Following a traumatic event, she dropped out and had a mental break. The movie shows her mental state and delves into the reasons as to why she dropped out, as well as discussing some ideas of revenge. So what do I think of Promising Young Woman? I think Promising Young Woman absolutely lives up to its praise and Oscar nominations. This movie is extremely powerful. As soon as the movie begins, you are interested into how Cassie became who she became and the reasons of why she's doing what she's doing. Also, the film has many different genres and tones. First, it starts off as a revenge drama, then it shifts to a more romantic drama, before going back to the revenge drama. And actually, the change in styles perfectly mirrors Cassie's mental health, and it's not distracting at all. This was probably the reason that Emerald Fennell earned a Best Director Academy Award nomination. Actress Carey Mulligan is pitch perfect as Cassie, handling the genre shifts well in addition to Cassie's mental health issues. She is Academy Award worthy and has a nomination to show for it. Movies in 2020 in general had a difficult time with their release schedules because of the pandemic. Thankfully, Promising Young Woman was one of the best ones to be released in 2020. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, I give Promising Young Woman a 9 out of 10. This film is well worth a rental because it has characters who make sense, a well-told story about mental health and revenge, and a film that will have you in discussion for weeks afterwards. It's now time for this week's history portion of WWHEN. This week, we'll be visiting the town of Hinsdale, Massachusetts. It is a small, quiet hill town with a population of over 1,900 people. Despite this, it has a very fascinating history to it. It was originally part of the Northern Berkshire Township No. 2, which also included parts of Dalton, whose school district it now shares, Middlefield, and all of Peru. The town, not the country. The town was first settled in 1771, but it wasn't called Hinsdale at first. It was actually named Partridgefield. It was named for Oliver Partridge, whose photographs do not exist. There are no known photographs of him. He was one of the first 3 purchasers of the town, along with then Governor Francis Bernard, shown here, and his western parish. When it broke away from its eastern half and incorporated in 1904, the town was renamed to Hinsdale. It was renamed after the family of Reverend Theodore Hinsdale, whose tombstone is shown here. He was a popular priest who also owned an important woolen mill. The mill was the center of the town's economic activity for many years, until it was forced to shut down during the Great Depression. Afterwards, the railroad became the major town supplier. It ran on the Boston and Albany Railroad, which operates the Lake Shore Line. This is a passenger rail services that has run continuously from Boston to Chicago since 1897, although today the Hinsdale one is closed. For a small town, Hinsdale has actually had a major impact on the national government. There have been many different mayors and congressmen who were born in the small town. Some prominent figures who were born here include New York Congressman August P. Haskell, Massachusetts Congressman Ashley B. Wright, the former mayor of Cheyenne, Wyoming, Daniel Webster Gill, and former Detroit mayor and the first treasurer of Michigan, Henry Howard. It's pretty amazing that all of these people were born in this small town, but have had their influence far beyond Hinsdale and even into places like Wyoming. That ends this week's episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit the PTSBC-TV, CTSB-TV, and NBC-TC websites shown here. Also, if you would like to see the episodes in HD quality, make sure to check out my YouTube page at RT Wehry.